Guys, it's Bharat Nagpal for iGaming.in, and today we're checking out the new Panasonic P51. Now this is Panasonic's first entry into the smartphone market space, and it is a device which is a 5-inch sort of phablet sort of phone. It was launched at 25,000 rupees but now is available for around 22,000 rupees. The difference here is that instead of a Qualcomm or an Nvidia chipset, this device is based on a MediaTek chipset. So usually you get MediaTek devices in the price range of anywhere from 5,000 rupees to about 15,000 rupees is the highest that they go. Panasonic has launched a device which comes at a price of 22,000 rupees. So is this device with the same sort of specifications worthy of the price that it's been set at? Let's find out. So a couple of things that you get inside the box from the get-go is a sort of flip case cover. It's magnetic, and you can see that the white color over here snaps on the back. So the white color over here gets dirty really easily. You can see we have some black marks over here, and the inside is also sort of felt lined. It's sort of soft, but it gets really dirty really fast. Now the magnetic flip cover sticks onto the device a little bit, but it does not turn off the device. So it's not a smart case of any sort, but it just sticks to the front of the device so it doesn't flip open unnecessarily. You also get a stylus which you can attach to the front of the case. It sort of sticks here for a little bit because it's got some magnetic portion over here, and of course this big magnet over here, you can stick it to that as well, so it sticks on that. But again, it's not very stable. It keeps wobbling around. It doesn't fall off very easily, but it keeps rotating and twisting and doing all those kind of things. So that's something that you need to be aware of. Another thing is that the charging port has been hidden behind the flip cover. So every time you need to charge your device, you either need to leave the flip cover open, or you need to remove the flip cover in its entirety. And that is something I'm not happy with. If I am charging my device, I would like to have the flip cover on. So in case my wire gets pulled and my phone falls on the floor, flip cover will at least protect the screen. In this scenario, the flip cover will be open, so this phone will fall on the screen. So these are a couple of negatives about these accessories. Also, the stylus is not very handy, not really easy to use, but it does work really well. So it's not really comfortable in the hand, but it works really well. It's very responsive for the screen. And it is something that should have been inside the device instead of outside. It should have had a hole or a port where you could stick in the stylus, but that's not an option. But you can see it works fairly well, fairly responsive, and it gets the job done. So you do have a stylus which works really well, and it's something that you can use to sketch and do all sorts of things with this device. But the accessories are not really what we are talking about. We are talking about the phone. So Panasonic says that their device has been tested, has been built differently, conforms to a lot of industry standards that other devices don't. So let's talk about that. The build quality of the phone is absolutely wonderful. It's actually a lot better than some of the other devices that we've seen. If you want to compare this with a Micromax or a Carbon or even a Gionee phone, you'll see the build quality is really nice. Although the Gionee E3, for example, is a very nicely built phone, and we did go hands-on with it and we did review it, so you can check out the review for that. But this is fantastic. The build quality, the plastics are really solid, and it is a unibody design, so the battery is not replaceable. A lot of other things on this device would change because of that. So the battery is not replaceable. A lot of people like replaceable batteries, but this is a unibody design, so you don't have a replaceable battery. The SIM card sort of cover over here is also sort of flimsy. So once you pull on it a couple of times, it bends from either side. So if I give you a little example over here, it sort of bends like this. So when you close your device, it sort of stays open a little bit. So you can see this. So if I press it from here or here, it sort of stays open, which is not nice. So the overall build quality then gets affected by these ports. Of course, you can fix it by pressing it in the opposite direction, like I'm going to demonstrate. If you ever have this issue with your P51, you can fix your tray. You can fix it, but it's something that you'll face quite often if you're swapping out SIM cards. The micro SD card slot is also sort of this pull open tab sort of slot, so it's a little difficult to open in the first place. Let me pull out my trusty knife. I'm going to show you how this opens up. So this is what the port looks like. You can see we have a micro SD card in there. Slightly difficult to access, so I'm going to use my sort of knife to pull it out, but you can see that the card is not included. That's ours. So that is something that you will notice on these devices. It's a little difficult to access these ports. In terms of build quality, again, I said the overall build quality is nice. I'm not too happy about the SIM card port. Everything else seems to be really nice. The front glass is also sort of Asahi Dragon Trail glass. It is scratch resistant. Panasonic says it's comparable to Gorilla Glass. We're not too sure about that, but we did put it through a lot of testing and scratching tests. So it didn't scratch. So as you can see that sample over there, there is not a single scratch or a dent when I whacked it really hard or scratched it really hard with the butt of the knife. So glass is also good. The fact that you get a flip cover, you get sort of additional protection. Overall, in terms of that build quality, the device is really impressive. In terms of performance, it is a MediaTek chipset. So there's only that much that Panasonic could have done with this device. But they have really tweaked the software interface a lot. So it's really a lot more responsive than other devices in sort of comparison. You'll notice that apps open almost faster or twice as fast as other devices. So they have really tweaked out the software interface. They've also added a lot of features into the camera. So if, for example, if I jump into the camera, they have added lots of features, including image stabilization. You can see this sort of animation that tells you how to use the camera. If you pop into it, you can look at that. So how to click a picture. You can zoom into the picture, etc. So if I am looking at something, I can zoom in fairly easily. I have lots of settings over here that I can choose from. So I have high dynamic range, panorama mode, multi-angle view mode, speed mode, smile shot, all those things. So you have all those features over here. Of course, you can jump into the full settings. You can turn on geotagging or GPS location info, exposure settings. You can also change the color effect, white balance, image properties, etc. You can also turn on anti-flickering. In the camera mode, you have EIS, which you have seen on other devices as well. But it sort of works a little better on the Panasonic because it's some software tweak that they've done. They've carried it over from their Lumix range of cameras, which have really nice image stabilization. So unless you do a lot of video, the advantage will be only slightly visible to those who use a lot of video. Again, the screen is really nice. You have nice viewing angles on the display. It does let you use and interact with the display a lot better. So for example, let me just quickly jump into our website over here. Again, the browser is really fast at loading up web pages, so we had no issues with that. So you can see it loads up the full website, really nice and fast. You can really scroll through. The scrolling is really fantastic. A lot better than several other devices that we've tested out. Pinching in, zooming in, really fluid. You can see that action, almost zero lag. Actually, no lag, in fact. I can confidently say that there is no lag. Also, if you shift over to landscape, the switch is almost simultaneous. Zero lag again there with any sort of shift. It just goes into white and then comes back into the text. Images look really crisp on the display. You have excellent viewing angles, almost 180 degree viewing angle, about 170 degrees. So with respect to all those things, screen is really nice. And again, switching in from apps, almost instant. You can see that the response time is almost instant. You have multiple apps running over here, it doesn't matter. You can just jump into the camera, almost instant. So these things have really improved with Panasonic's implementation of this chipset. A lot of companies that we've been looking at just buy devices directly, where Panasonic says that they've done a lot of research, and it sort of shows in the usage. You can go check out our benchmarks and our gaming video to have a little bit of the understanding. We went on benchmarks, not a lot of difference in terms of scores, but you can see the full details in our benchmark video. Also with gaming, almost the same performance that you would get with the other devices. The speakerphone is good, the overall gaming quality is decent. It's not the best gaming that you can get in this price bracket, that's for sure. So in conclusion, does the Panasonic P51 with its price justify the overall value? We feel that for an additional price of 6,000 to 7,000 rupees from the most expensive MediaTek chipset based device, the Panasonic P51 adds a lot of features and usability. It also adds fluidity and almost a lag-free interface. It also adds a lot of software tweaks to make the device last longer. Battery life is absolutely fantastic. We got about 4 to 5 hours of talk time on this device. Even with internet browsing and gaming, we got a good, decent day's use. So we could go on for about a full day without needing a charge. But these are all things that come with respect to money, and for a price difference of about 7,000 rupees and a price of about 22,000 rupees, we feel that there are lots of other devices in the market that you can get your hands on, which will give you slightly better performance in terms of camera, slightly better performance in terms of software, and a lot of custom interfaces. Of course, you can download several apps from the Android marketplace, get those on here. Panasonic's also added some applications of their own to make it look a little bit more useful, but they're not really interesting applications. So for example, if you go and buy a Samsung device, you get the TouchWiz user interface, you get a series of Samsung applications. Similar with HTC Sense, you get HTC Sense, a custom loader. With Sony phones, Xperia phones, you get Timescape user interface. So with everything that you get custom UI, with Panasonic you get a very stock UI, no customizations there. So this is Panasonic's first attempt, but I feel that they might have missed out on the price bracket. The device is absolutely fantastic, and if this was for about 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees more expensive than the other devices in the market, we would have been happy paying extra for this device. But with the fact that this phone is priced about 8,000 rupees more, we don't feel that the price is justified for the kind of value you get for this device. If you have any questions or queries, do check out this full review on iGyan.in. You can also catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyan, youtube.com/iGyanTV. For iGyan Networks, this is me, Bharat Nagpal. Thank you guys for watching.